The scrap heap wonder. Captain Victoria Drake stood in the massive ceremonial chamber of the Galactic Concordat's central spire, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she tried to ignore the whispers and barely concealed snickers from the assembled alien dignitaries. At 53, she had spent more than half her life in space, starting with the earliest lunar mining operations. Now she commanded Earth's first contribution to the Concordat's defense fleet, though commanded might be too generous a term for what most species present considered little more than an orbital catastrophe waiting to happen. And now, announced High Chancellor Xyrix, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns, Earth will present their contribution to our combined defensive forces. The massive holographic display activated above the chamber's center, and Victoria heard the expected wave of gasps and murmurs. The ENS Phoenix hung in the projection, and even Victoria had to admit it looked distinctive. The ship's hull was a patchwork of materials. Sections of decommissioned space stations, recycled shuttle plates, and even portions of ancient satellite arrays all merged together in what appeared to be barely controlled chaos. First Officer Raj Patel stepped closer to Victoria, speaking under his breath. "They're all starring, Captain." "Let them," Victoria replied quietly. "They don't understand yet." From the assembled audience, a tall figure emerged. Ambassador Helios XIX of the Helios Empire, his golden skin literally glowing with barely contained disdain. "This vessel," he said, making the word sound like a personal insult, "this is Earth's military contribution." Victoria stepped forward, her voice clear and steady. "The Phoenix represents humanity's best innovations in adaptive technology and resourceful engineering. It represents," Helios XIX countered, "a primitive species' desperate attempt to play at being a spacefaring civilization. Those materials, they're recycled debris. Literal space junk." Chief Engineer Marcus Wung, standing with the rest of the Phoenix's senior staff, twitched visibly at the insult. Victoria knew how many sleepless nights he'd spent perfecting the ship's hybrid systems, combining Earth's resourceful engineering with scattered pieces of recovered alien tech. "Every piece serves a purpose," Victoria stated firmly. "The Phoenix may not match the aesthetic standards of the Concordat, but she's more capable than she appears." A new voice joined the conversation, Grand Admiral Nexus of the Helios Empire's First Fleet. The cybernetically enhanced warrior philosopher stood nearly 3 meters tall, his armor gleaming with integrated quantum technology that probably cost more than Earth's entire space program. "Capable," Nexus's voice carried the weight of centuries of military tradition. "That collection of debris wouldn't survive our fleet's basic training exercises." Victoria felt her crew tensing behind her. Dr. Jenna Martinez, their xenotechnology specialist, took a half-step forward before Lieutenant Commander Zara Chen, tactical officer, caught her arm with a subtle shake of her head. "Perhaps," Victoria suggested, keeping her voice level, "the Phoenix could demonstrate her capabilities in your next fleet exercise." The chamber went silent. Even High Chancellor Xyrix's crystalline form stopped refracting light for a moment. Grand Admiral Nexus's cybernetic eyes focused on Victoria with an intensity that would have made most humans flinch. "You would risk your crew in combat exercises against the most advanced fleet in the galaxy?" Nexus asked, genuine curiosity mixing with his condescension. "We would welcome the opportunity to learn from the Helios Empire's expertise," Victoria replied diplomatically, though everyone present heard the real message. "Bring it on." Nexus exchanged a look with Ambassador Helios XIX, their silent communication evident in subtle changes of their golden bioluminescence. "Very well," the Grand Admiral declared. "The Phoenix may participate in next month's Rigel exercises, though I recommend you have escape pods ready." As the assembled dignitaries began to disperse, First Officer Patel turned to Victoria. "Captain, the Rigel exercises, that's the most challenging military demonstration in the Concordat." "I know, Raj." Victoria watched as Grand Admiral Nexus and his entourage departed, their advanced technology making even their exit look elegant and effortless. "But they need to learn what we already know. Sometimes the strongest solutions come from the most unexpected places." Back aboard the Phoenix, Victoria gathered her senior staff in what they called the War Room, though it looked more like a repurposed storage compartment with mismatched chairs and tables salvaged from various Earth space stations. "They're underestimating us," Marcus Wung declared, his fingers drumming on a console he'd built from 3 different species' discarded tech. just like everyone always underestimates human engineering. Dr. Martinez nodded enthusiastically. Our hybrid systems don't just copy alien technology, they combine different approaches in ways they've never considered. The Phoenix's adaptive hull alone, which looks like a trash compactor, had a fight with a satellite array, Zara Chen interrupted, though her tone was fond. She'd been skeptical of the design at first, but had grown to appreciate its unconventional advantages. Appearances can be deceiving, Victoria reminded them, calling up a holographic display of the Helios Empire's first fleet. We have 1 month to prepare for the Rigel exercises. Marcus, how's the new power distribution system coming along? The quantum fusion hybrid matrix is stable, Marcus reported. Mostly stable, stable enough, and it gives us capabilities they won't expect. Victoria looked around at her crew, the best and brightest Earth had to offer, even if they didn't match the Concordat's traditional definitions of either. The Helios Empire and the rest of the Concordat see us as primitive upstarts who got lucky with faster-than-light travel. They think our recycled technology and hybrid systems make us weak. They're wrong, Raj stated firmly. They are, Victoria agreed. And in 1 month we're going to show them just how wrong. Humanity didn't get to the stars by following someone else's rulebook. We got here by taking what we had and making it work in ways no one else imagined. As her crew began detailing preparation plans, Victoria turned to look out the viewport at the gleaming ships of the Concordat fleet. The Phoenix's reflection was visible among them, awkward, unusual, and absolutely remarkable. Let them laugh now, she thought. They won't be laughing for long. One more thing, Victoria addressed her crew. During the ceremony, I noticed something in the long-range sensor data. Lieutenant Commander Chen, I want you to analyze those readings. Something about the pattern at the edge of Concordat space doesn't feel right. You think there's more at stake than just proving ourselves? Raj asked quietly. Victoria nodded. I think we need to be ready for anything. The galaxy's about to learn that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome. And the Phoenix is going to teach them that lesson. Unconventional tactics. The Phoenix hung in Earth's orbit, its patchwork hull reflecting sunlight in irregular patterns. Inside the ship's engineering bay, Chief Engineer Marcus Wung lay on his back beneath an open panel, surrounded by tools from 6 different species. Holographic diagrams floated around him, showing impossible combinations of technology that would make any Concordat engineer have a nervous breakdown. Pass me the quantum spanner, he called out to his assistant, Lieutenant Olivia Nash, a former orbital construction specialist who had an uncanny knack for making incompatible technologies work together. You sure about this modification? Olivia asked, handing him the tool. Mixing Helios quantum matrices with our fusion reactors seems like asking for a spectacular explosion. Marcus slid out from under the panel, his face streaked with various colors of technical fluids. That's exactly what makes it perfect. Look. He pulled up a new hologram showing energy flow patterns. Concordat ships use quantum technology because it's efficient and predictable. Our fusion tech is messier, more dynamic. When we combine them, we get controlled chaos. Olivia finished, her eyes widening as she understood. They won't be able to predict our power signatures because they've never seen anything like it. Exactly, Marcus grinned. Now help me install these phase inverters. We need to be ready for combat drills in 6 hours. In the Phoenix's combat simulation chamber, Lieutenant Commander Zara Chen was putting the ship's pilots through their paces. The main screen showed a virtual representation of the Phoenix performing maneuvers that seemed to defy both physics and common sense. Again, Zara commanded as another pilot failed to execute the complex sequence. The quantum splice maneuver only works if you time the power fluctuations perfectly with the directional thrusts. Lieutenant Jessica, Jazz Hammond, their lead combat pilot, stepped up to the simulator. At 28, she had been a champion in experimental aircraft racing before joining the Phoenix crew. The calculations for this move are insane, she said, studying the trajectory plots. That's why it'll work, Zara replied. Helios targeting systems are based on quantum probability matrices. They calculate every possible move a ship might make based on known physics and tactical doctrine, but our hybrid systems don't follow their rules. Jazz settled into the simulator pod, her fingers dancing across the controls. On the screen, the virtual Phoenix began to move. Instead of the smooth, elegant maneuvers favored by Concordat ships, it performed a series of seemingly erratic jumps and turns. The ship's power signature split and reformed, creating multiple ghost images that would confuse enemy targeting systems. Better, Zara nodded, but we need it to be perfect. The Helios Empire's first fleet doesn't accept anything less. On the bridge, Captain Victoria Drake and First Officer Raj Patel were reviewing tactical data from previous Rigel exercises. Dr. Jenna Martinez had joined them, bringing her expertise in xenotechnology to analyze the Helios Empire's combat patterns. Look at this, Jenna pointed to a particular sequence. Their formations are beautiful, mathematically perfect, but that's their weakness. They've turned combat into an art form, following the same patterns for centuries. Because those patterns work, Raj noted, their technology is so advanced that they've never needed to adapt. Until now, Victoria smiled. Show me what you found in their blind spots. Jenna manipulated the holographic display, highlighting certain areas around the Helios ships. Their quantum sensors are incredibly powerful, but they have microscopic gaps in coverage, gaps they don't even realize exist because no one's ever exploited them. And that's where we'll strike from, Victoria nodded. How are the stealth modifications coming along? Marcus and his team have done something brilliant, Jenna replied. They've taken salvage stealth panels from 3 different species and integrated them with Earth's old satellite cloaking technology. The result isn't perfect invisibility, but it creates sensor readings that make no sense to Concordat systems. A communication alert chimed, and Grand Admiral Nexus's imposing figure appeared on the main screen. Captain Drake, his cybernetic eyes scanned the Phoenix's bridge with barely concealed disdain. I trust you're preparing for the exercises. We are, Admiral, Victoria replied calmly. Though I notice you've assigned us to target Group Omega, traditionally the designated enemy force in the exercises. As newcomers to the Concordat, it seemed appropriate, Nexus said smoothly, unless you object. Not at all, Victoria smiled. We look forward to helping test the First Fleet's capabilities. After the communication ended, Raj turned to Victoria. They're setting us up to fail spectacularly in front of the entire Concordat. No, Victoria corrected him. They're giving us exactly the opportunity we need. Have you completed the analysis of those strange readings from the edge of Concordat space? Yes, Raj's expression turned serious. There's definitely something out there, Captain. The pattern suggests deliberate movement, but it doesn't match any known species signature. Keep monitoring it, Victoria ordered. Meanwhile, let's show our Helios friends what the Phoenix can really do. The next 2 weeks were a blur of preparation. The Phoenix's crew worked around the clock, pushing their hybrid systems to their limits and beyond. In the ship's tactical center, Zara and her team developed combat maneuvers that no sane pilot would attempt with a conventional vessel. Marcus and his engineers continued modifying the ship's systems, creating increasingly unpredictable power configurations. 3 days before the exercises were set to begin, Victoria called her senior staff together in the war room. Status reports, she commanded. Engineering is ready, Marcus reported. The quantum fusion hybrid matrix is stable, and we've managed to integrate the salvaged Helios shield harmonics with our point defense systems. It's not pretty, but it works. Combat teams are prepared, Zora added. Jazz and her pilots can now execute the quantum splice with an 87% success rate. The rest of our unconventional maneuvers are combat-ready. The Sensor Ghost program is operational, Jenna contributed. We can now project multiple false power signatures while masking our true position. Victoria nodded, studying the tactical displays showing the gathering Concordat fleet near the Rigel system. Over 300 ships had assembled for the exercises, representing the most powerful military force in known space. The Phoenix, with its recycled hull and hybrid systems, looked absurdly out of place among them. The Helios Empire and their allies think they're putting us in our place, Victoria addressed her crew. They see our ship as a joke, our technology as primitive, our methods as crude, but they've forgotten something crucial about humanity. She stood, looking each crew member in the eye. We didn't reach the stars by following anyone else's path. We got here by taking what we had and making it work, by thinking differently, by turning our limitations into advantages. Tomorrow, we show the Concordat that sometimes the best solutions come from the most unexpected places. As her crew dispersed to make final preparations, Victoria remained in the war room, studying the latest sensor data from the edge of Concordat space. The strange readings were getting stronger, forming patterns that tugged at her instincts. Something was coming, something the Concordat's advanced technology might not be prepared for. But first, they had to prove themselves in the Rigel exercises. As Victoria looked out at the assembled fleet, she smiled. Let them underestimate us, she thought. It will make the lesson all the more memorable. Hidden threats. The Rigel system blazed with the light of over 300 Concordat vessels, their quantum drives creating a spectacular display of engineered perfection. The Phoenix drifted at the edge of target group Omega, its mismatched hull standing out like a recycled sculpture in a museum of fine art. Multiple contacts, Lieutenant Commander Zara Chen announced from her tactical station. The First Fleet is moving into attack formation Delta 7. Right on schedule, Captain Victoria Drake nodded. Just like they've done in every exercise for the past 50 years. Jazz, prepare for scatter protocol. Lieutenant Jessica Hammond's fingers hovered over her controls. Ready, Captain, though I still think this maneuver is slightly insane. Slightly insane is our specialty, First Officer Raj Patel remarked with a tight smile. The first wave of the exercise began exactly as expected. Grand Admiral Nexus's flagship, the Eternal Light, led a precision strike formation that had won countless battles throughout Concordat history. Their quantum weapon systems locked onto the designated targets with perfect accuracy. Now, Victoria commanded. Jazz initiated the scatter protocol. The Phoenix's hybrid drive system created a cascade of power fluctuations that made the ship appear to fragment into multiple images. At the same time, their recycled stealth panels activated in an alternating pattern that defied conventional sensor logic. On the bridge of the Eternal Light, Grand Admiral Nexus frowned as his targeting display showed the Phoenix seemingly splitting into 6 different vessels, each moving in physically impossible ways. Status report, he demanded. Unable to establish lock, his tactical officer reported, frustration evident in their tone. Their power signature keeps shifting. It's like trying to target a quantum anomaly. Before Nexus could respond, an alert blared through the command center. Admiral, multiple hits registered on our port shields. Target group Omega has broken through our formation. Nexus's cybernetic eyes widened as he watched the tactical display. The Phoenix's erratic movements had created gaps in his fleet's perfect formation, gaps that the other ships in target group Omega had exploited with devastating effectiveness. But Victoria wasn't celebrating their initial success. Her attention was drawn to a secondary display where Dr. Jenna Martinez was analyzing long-range sensor data. Captain, Jenna called out urgently, I'm detecting something at the edge of the exercise zone. The pattern matches those anomalous readings we've been tracking. Victoria made a quick decision. Raj, take command of the exercise. I need to check something. She moved to Jenna's station, studying the sensor data. Show me. The scientist pulled up a detailed analysis. Look at these energy signatures. They're similar to quantum drives, but wrong somehow, and they're getting stronger. How many ships are we detecting? That's just it, Jenna frowned. The signature is too scattered to get an accurate count. Could be dozens, could be hundreds. Victoria opened a channel to engineering. Marcus, I need everything you can give me from our hybrid sensors. In engineering, Chief Engineer Marcus Wung and Lieutenant Olivia Nash were already working on the problem. Captain, we've modified the quantum fusion array to scan on multiple frequencies, Marcus reported. You're not going to like what we found. The enhanced sensor data appeared on Jenna's display. The scattered readings resolved into a chilling pattern, a massive fleet of unknown vessels, approaching in a formation unlike anything recorded in Concordat history. We need to alert the Concordat fleet, Victoria decided. She opened a channel to the Eternal Light. Admiral Nexus were detecting multiple unknown contacts approaching the exercise zone. Nexus's response was dismissive. Captain Drake, if this is some attempt to distract from your inevitable defeat in these exercises. This isn't about the exercises, Victoria interrupted. Check your long-range sensors, frequency band Theta 9, there's something out there. Our sensors show nothing on any frequency, Nexus replied coldly. Perhaps your recycled equipment is malfunctioning. Victoria turned to Jenna. Why aren't their sensors picking this up? Their quantum sensors are too perfect, Jenna realized. They're designed to detect known patterns, known technologies. Our hybrid systems are picking this up precisely because they're imperfect. They can see the chaos in the pattern. The exercise continued around them, but Victoria's focus was now entirely on the approaching threat. She opened a channel to her senior staff, meeting in the war room immediately. 5 minutes later, the Phoenix's command crew gathered around the tactical display. The unknown fleet's signature had grown stronger, and now they could see more detail in their movement patterns. They're using some kind of organic technology, Jenna explained, pointing to specific energy patterns. But it's merged with something artificial in a way I've never seen before. Look at their approach vector, Zara added. They're not just heading for the exercise zone. Their course will take them straight through 3 populated Concordat systems. We need to convince the Concordat this threat is real, Victoria stated. Ideas. They won't listen to us, Raj said, frustrated. We're the newcomers, the primitives, they barely take us seriously as it is. Then we make them listen, Marcus suggested. We can modify our sensor array to broadcast on all Concordat frequencies, force them to see what we're seeing. That would violate about 15 different Concordat protocols, Olivia pointed out. So we'll apologize later, Victoria decided. Marcus, do it. Jenna, I want everything you can give me on these ships. Zara, start working on defensive strategies. If these things are part organic, they might not follow conventional combat logic. Captain, Jazz called from the bridge. The unknown fleet just accelerated. At their current speed, they'll reach the exercise zone in less than 6 hours. Victoria studied the tactical display, watching as the exercise continued around them, the mighty Concordat fleet playing at war while a real threat approached. She thought about Earth, so recently joined to the Galactic community and all the populated worlds that lay in the unknown fleet's path. The Concordat rejected our warnings because they don't respect our technology, she told her crew. They see our hybrid systems and recycled hull as signs of weakness. But right now, we're the only ones who can see this threat coming, and if they won't listen to our warnings, we'll have to show them, Raj finished. Victoria nodded grimly. Marcus, how quickly can you reconfigure our weapon systems? If we're going to convince the Concordat this threat is real, we need to be ready for a real fight. Give me 3 hours, Marcus replied. I've got some ideas they definitely won't expect. Good, Victoria looked at each member of her crew. The Concordat thinks they know everything about warfare because they've perfected their technology, but they've forgotten that real threats don't play by the rules. Sometimes it takes an imperfect solution to solve an impossible problem. As her crew rushed to prepare for the coming crisis, Victoria sent one final message to Earth Command, explaining what they'd discovered and what they planned to do. Then she turned her attention to the tactical display, watching as the unknown fleet drew ever closer to the unsuspecting Concordat forces. The Phoenix might be a patchwork of salvage technology, but right now, it was the only ship in the galaxy equipped to see the true threat approaching. Soon, the Concordat would learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in the perfection of their technology, but in their ability to adapt and overcome against impossible odds. And the clock was ticking. The coming storm. Multiple contacts emerging from quantum space. Lieutenant Commander Zara Chen's voice cut through the controlled chaos on the Phoenix's bridge. Count is, by the stars, there are hundreds of them. The tactical display lit up with signals as the unknown fleet materialized at the edge of the Rigel system. Their ships were unlike anything in Concordat records. Massive organic-looking structures wrapped in crystalline lattices that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Full scan, Captain Victoria Drake ordered. I want to know everything about these ships. Dr. Jenna Martinez's fingers flew across her console as she directed their hybrid sensors toward the newcomers. The hull composition is extraordinary. It's some kind of living metal integrated with quantum technology, but the configuration is completely alien. They're not responding to any standard hailing frequencies, First Officer Raj Patel reported. I've tried all known Concordat protocols. Victoria watched as the Concordat exercise fleet scrambled to respond to the unexpected arrival. Grand Admiral Nexus's precise formations dissolved into confusion as their quantum sensors struggled to make sense of the biological-mechanical hybrid vessels. Admiral Nexus is ordering all ships to battle stations, Raj announced. He's still treating us as part of Target Group Omega. We're supposed to withdraw to a defensive position. Like hell we will, Victoria muttered. Jazz, move us closer to those ships. Marcus, how are our modified weapons? Chief Engineer Marcus Wung's voice came through the comm, accompanied by the sound of frantic activity in engineering. The quantum fusion hybrid cannons are online, but they're unstable. We'll get maybe 3 shots before the power couplings start to melt. Make them count. Victoria opened a channel to the Eternal Light. Admiral Nexus, our sensors show these vessels are using some form of bio-quantum technology. Your standard weapons may not. The channel cut off as the first alien vessel opened fire. A beam of writhing energy, more organic than technological, lanced out and struck a Concordat cruiser. The quantum shields that had protected Concordat ships for centuries flickered and failed instantly. The cruiser's hull began to dissolve, as if being consumed from the atomic level. By the void, Zara whispered, their weapons aren't just destroying the ships, they're eating them. The Concordat fleet's response was immediate and precisely coordinated. Hundreds of quantum torpedoes streaked toward the alien vessels, only to be absorbed by their living metal hulls. The energy seemed to make them stronger. Captain, Jenna called out, I've analyzed their energy signature. These ships, they're designed to consume quantum energy. The more advanced the technology, the more they can absorb and use. Victoria's mind raced. The Concordat's quantum technology, the pride of their civilization, was worse than useless against these creatures. But the Phoenix, with its cobbled-together systems and hybrid technology. Marcus, she called to engineering, remember that power surge problem we could never fix, the one that makes our weapons fire at random frequencies. You mean the flaw that nearly got us banned from Concordat space? What about it? Can you make it worse? There was a pause, then a laugh. Captain, I've spent months trying to fix that problem. Give me 10 minutes and I can make it spectacularly worse. Do it? Victoria turned to her bridge crew. The Concordat's weapons are too perfect, too predictable. These creatures evolved to feed on that kind of energy. But our jury-rigged systems, our imperfect technology, they won't know how to handle that. Lieutenant Jessica Jazz Hammond's hands tensed on the flight controls. What's the plan, Captain? We're going to show the Concordat how Earth fights. Victoria opened a broadcast channel to all ships. This is Captain Drake of the Phoenix. The enemy vessels are absorbing quantum energy. Standard weapons are ineffective. Fall back and regroup. We'll demonstrate an alternative approach. On the Eternal Light's bridge, Grand Admiral Nexus watched in disbelief as 3 more Concordat ships were consumed by the alien weapons. His perfect battle plans, his advanced technology, all useless against this unknown threat. Admiral, his tactical officer, reported, the Earthship. They're moving to engage. The Phoenix accelerated toward the alien fleet, its recycled hull plates vibrating as Marcus pushed their hybrid drive beyond its design limits. Jazz executed a series of maneuvers that looked more like mechanical failure than tactical doctrine. Weapons ready, Zara reported, though ready might be an optimistic term. Fire at will, Victoria ordered. Show them what Earth ingenuity can do. The Phoenix's hybrid cannons fired, but not with the precise, controlled beams of Concordat weapons. Instead, they released bursts of chaotic energy, part quantum, part fusion, part something else entirely. The blast stuttered and fluctuated, changing frequency and composition randomly. The first shot struck an alien vessel's hull. Instead of being absorbed, the chaotic energy caused the living metal to recoil. The second shot created a cascade of reactions through the ship's bio-quantum matrix. The third shot, the last before the weapons began to melt, caused the alien vessel to convulse and tear itself apart. Direct hits, Zara called out. Their hull integrity is, well, the readings don't make any sense, but they definitely don't like it. The alien fleet's response was immediate. Dozens of the massive vessels turned their attention to the Phoenix, recognizing it as a threat they couldn't simply absorb. Multiple targeting locks, Zara reported. They're all coming for us. Good, Victoria smiled grimly. Jazz, initiate scatter protocol. Let's show them why being unpredictable is an advantage. The Phoenix's hybrid drive created a web of conflicting energy signatures, making the ship appear to be in multiple places at once. The alien vessels fired their consuming beams, but hit only empty space as Jazz executed maneuvers that defied both physics and logic. Captain, Jenna called out, I'm detecting changes in their hull composition. They're trying to adapt to our weapons, but their bio-quantum matrix can't process our chaotic energy patterns. They've never encountered anything like this. Victoria opened a channel to the Eternal Light. Admiral Nexus, our hybrid technology is effective against these vessels. We can share our weapon specifications, but you'll need to modify your quantum systems. They'll work better if they're less perfect. There was a long pause before Nexus responded. Send the data. All ships reconfigure weapons according to Phoenix specifications. As the Concordat fleet scrambled to adapt their advanced technology, making it more like Earth's primitive systems, Victoria watched the tactical display. The alien vessels were regrouping, preparing for another attack. But now they faced an enemy they couldn't simply consume, a fleet willing to embrace chaos and imperfection as weapons. All hands, Victoria addressed her crew, prepare for combat. The real battle is about to begin. Salvation through innovation. The Rigel system had become a battlefield unlike any in Concordat history. The perfectly ordered formations of the galaxy's most advanced fleet had been replaced by controlled chaos as hundreds of ships attempted to mimic the Phoenix's erratic combat style. Status report, Captain Victoria Drake commanded as the Phoenix emerged from another nerve-wracking engagement. Hull integrity at 64%, Lieutenant Commander Zara Chen reported from Tactical. Our recycled armor is actually holding up better than Concordat quantum plating against their weapons. Because it's too primitive to digest, Dr. Jenna Martinez added from her science station. These bioquantum creatures evolved to consume advanced technology. Our hybrid systems are giving them technological indigestion. In engineering, Chief Engineer Marcus Wung and Lieutenant Olivia Nash worked frantically to keep their weapons operational. The modified hybrid cannons were never designed for prolonged combat, and each shot threatened to tear the ship apart. Port weapons array is critical, Olivia reported. The quantum fusion matrix is destabilizing. Marcus's hands flew over the controls, rerouting power through systems that were never meant to connect. Captain, we need to try something crazy. Crazier than what we're already doing, First Officer Raj Patel asked. Much crazier, Marcus confirmed. Remember how their ships adapt to energy patterns. What if we reverse our quantum field polarity while simultaneously initiating a fusion cascade? The resulting feedback loop would probably blow us up, Olivia interrupted. Yes, but before that happens, it would create a wave of pure chaos energy. Their bioquantum matrix wouldn't just fail to absorb it, it would actively reject it. Victoria studied the tactical display. Despite the Concordat fleet's attempts to adopt their methods, the alien vessels were still advancing. 3 more Concordat ships had been consumed in the last engagement alone. How big of a wave are we talking about? She asked. Big enough to affect everything within half a light minute, Marcus replied. But we'd have to get deep into their formation for maximum effect, and we'd need the Concordat fleet to hit them simultaneously from multiple angles while they're disrupted. Lieutenant Jessica Hammond turned from her pilot's station. I can get us in there, Captain, but getting out, she left the sentence unfinished. Victoria opened a channel to the eternal light. Admiral Nexus, we have a plan, but we'll need perfect timing and coordination from your fleet. Grand Admiral Nexus's image appeared on the screen. Gone was the pristine, superior bearing he had shown during the exercises. His cybernetic implants sparked occasionally from damage, and his golden skin had lost its luster. The mighty Concordat fleet taking tactical direction from an Earth vessel built from salvage, he said with a hint of irony. What do you need, Captain Drake? Victoria quickly outlined Marcus's plan. To her surprise, Nexus didn't dismiss the incredibly risky strategy. Perhaps watching his perfect technology fail had taught him something about the value of unconventional approaches. It's suicide, he said finally. Only if we get it wrong, Victoria replied. And humanity has a lot of experience turning near-impossible situations into narrow victories. Nexus nodded slowly. The Concordat fleet will follow your lead, Captain Drake. Show us how Earth fights. Victoria turned to her crew. This is volunteer only, what we're about to attempt. We're with you, Captain, Raj interrupted. Similar affirmations came from every station. Very well, Victoria straightened in her command chair. Battle stations, Jazz, plot us a course right down their throat. Marcus, begin power modifications. Zara, coordinate targeting solutions with the Concordat fleet. Dr. Martinez, I want continuous readings on their bioquantum matrix. We get one shot at this. The Phoenix moved into position, its hybrid drive creating a web of conflicting energy signatures that confused the alien vessel's targeting systems. Around them, the Concordat fleet split into attack groups, each one timing their approach to Victoria's countdown. Their flagship is directly ahead, Zara reported. Massive energy readings, they know we're their biggest threat. Good, Victoria replied. That means they'll try to stop us instead of running. Jazz, initiate attack pattern Phoenix rising. Lieutenant Hammond's hands flew across her controls. The Phoenix dove into the heart of the alien fleet, its erratic movements making it impossible to track. Enemy beams of consuming energy filled space around them, but Jazz's impossible maneuvers kept them just ahead of destruction. Hull integrity at 42%, Zara called out. Multiple system failures imminent. Engineering reports quantum fusion matrix at critical levels, Raj added. Marcus says we've got maybe 2 minutes before everything melts. That's 1 minute more than we need. Victoria opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships execute attack pattern on my mark 3, 2, 1. Now Marcus, Victoria commanded. In engineering, Marcus and Olivia simultaneously activated sequences that should never have been combined. The Phoenix's hybrid drive screamed as fusion energy collided with quantum fields, creating a cascade of chaos that rippled through spacetime itself. The alien flagship, attempting to consume what it thought was another energy weapon, instead found itself trying to process something that defied its very nature. The bioquantum matrix that made up its living hull began to convulse and tear apart. Energy wave expanding, Jenna reported over the sound of systems overloading throughout the ship. Their entire fleet is being affected. Concordat ships fire everything, Victoria ordered. The perfectly coordinated fleet that had once mock-battled in training exercises now launched a synchronized attack unlike anything in their tactical doctrine. Ships fired from multiple vectors, their weapons modified to create the same chaotic energy patterns that the Phoenix had pioneered. The alien vessels, their bioquantum matrix already destabilized by the Phoenix's chaos wave, couldn't adapt fast enough. One by one, their living metal hulls began to break down, unable to process the overwhelming assault of unpredictable energy. Enemy flagship is critical, Zara reported. Their entire command structure is collapsing, Captain. Multiple power spikes in their remaining ships. They're going to self-destruct, Jenna realized. The bioquantum reaction will. All ships maximum thrust, Victoria ordered. Get clear of the detonation radius. The Phoenix's engines, already pushed far beyond their limits, responded one final time to Jazz's commands. Behind them, the alien fleet erupted in a cascade of bioquantum explosions that lit up the Rigel system like a newborn sun. When the light faded, the tactical display showed no trace of the alien vessels. The combined force of their destruction had torn open a temporary quantum rift that their remaining ships had fled through, disappearing from known space. Damage report, Victoria called out, helping Raj back to his station after the final shock wave. Pretty much everything's broken, Marcus reported from engineering. But broken is our natural state, so we can work with that. Concordat fleet reporting in, Zara added. Minimal losses after the initial engagements. They're cheering for us, Captain. The main screen activated, showing Grand Admiral Nexus. His pristine bridge was now as battered as the Phoenix's, but he stood straighter than ever. Captain Drake, he said formally, the Concordat fleet. No, the entire Concordat owes you and your crew a debt of gratitude. We had forgotten that perfection can become a weakness, that sometimes the most effective solution is one that breaks all the rules. Victoria looked around at her exhausted but proud crew. We didn't break the rules, Admiral. We just proved that there's more than one way to solve a problem. Humanity may be new to the stars, but we brought with us something the Concordat had forgotten, the ability to adapt, to take what others consider junk and turn it into something remarkable. Indeed, Nexus actually smiled. The Phoenix may not be the most elegant ship in the fleet, but she has taught us all a valuable lesson. Perhaps it's time for the Concordat to re-examine some of our assumptions about what makes technology truly advanced. As repair crews began their work and the fleet regrouped, Victoria received a private message from Earth Command. They had monitored the entire battle and wanted her input on a new shipbuilding program, one that would combine Concordat quantum technology with Earth's innovative engineering approach. What do you think? She asked Raj, showing him the message. Should we tell them how to build proper ships? Raj looked around the Phoenix's bridge with its mismatched panels and jury-rigged systems that had just helped save the galaxy. Proper ships? No, let's show them how to build amazing ones. Victoria smiled, watching through the viewport as Concordat engineering teams approached the Phoenix, eager to learn its secrets. The ship that had once been mockingly called a collection of space junk had become a symbol of a new way forward, one where perfection and imperfection, advanced technology and resourceful innovation could combine to create something greater than either could achieve alone. The Phoenix had done more than save the Concordat. It had shown an entire galaxy that sometimes the best solutions come from embracing the unexpected, the unconventional, and the beautifully imperfect.